We all know the show as Mission Hill, but originally it lived for about 2 years before you ever saw it as the Downtowners, which was a title that we all liked better than Mission Hill, and it had kind of a weird vibe, like a weird Rat Pack era feel to it that we liked.
This area is filled with colorful local hipsters, like you.
That is Natalie Leibowitz Hernandez, who lives next door with her husband, Carlos Hernandez Leibowitz, and their baby, who is Baby Nameless. They're based on a real couple that we know. And the baby is my baby.
I don't care if that is a song from our genocidal westward expansion. It rocks!
This is Gus and Wally. Together, they're always fighting. This couple is groundbreaking. Their kiss in the elevator in our pilot was the first gay male kiss ever broadcast on television.
I don't like my personal life to be everybody's business. I need some condoms so I can make love to my lover. They're for gay sex.
Tell us about that girl.
That's one of my favorite designs.
He's a sort of street hipster. There's a whole group of people who are designed as...
You own all those items of clothing, don't you?
I do not have the coat anymore.
That is Griffo.
The name Griffo and his compatriot Sea Dog were guys who vandalized the dumpster outside of our office, and we just took the names that they wrote on the dumpster and made them into characters.
I think it's in my pants, man. Why don't you take a look?
This is Gwen, everybody's favorite design. Andy's on-again, off-again girlfriend and co-worker. Gwen has a much differently shaped head than almost everyone else in this universe. It's more like a Betty Boop kind of head.
Yeah, she was someone who everyone found difficult to draw.
Played by the voice of Jane Whelan from the Go-Go's, who was the bassist for the Go-Go's, and you'll see a Go-Go's poster there in her apartment.
Oh, sorry. I just made plans to have last-minute sex with somebody else.
Obviously, this is Toby and George. Design for Toby came from a character that John Candy did on SCTV back in the early 80s. I want to say that there was a lot of resistance to that drawing, that Toby looking like that, but I'm glad we held our ground.
Really? Resistance on whose
People
part?
didn't like it. They're like, what's that? It looks like a big fat lady, blah, 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 I recall. And we were like, no, this is exact. You're going to love it. Trust me.
Andy, you did it. Yeah, I can't believe it. Yeah, you're the best. Hey, what happened to your hair?
I don't know where George came from. It just seems like he's a real typical kind of guy. We knew a lot of guys like that. He seems like the kind of guy you'd be hanging out with. We don't need liquor to have fun. Not when we have the Babylon 5 collectible card game. Republican Vampire, played by writer Michael Paines, famous for his appearance as himself in the movie The Anniversary Party and numerous other commercials and films.
Basically just a goth street person who had an inexplicable tilt to the right.
My friends call me the Republican Vampire. Are you GOP, Andy?
An old man who lives in the neighborhood, often seen out clogging the sidewalk. His partner, the old woman who lives in the neighborhood. Some local hipsters. Sasha is the man. The woman I don't think ever had a name. But that's Leisha Kushel's voice.
They also, the design of the way they smoke was very specific, the hipster way to hold a cigarette.
They're usually used in shows where you need people to follow a current fad sweeping the street, and they're the first ones to sort of go along with it.
This was Eunice Uhlmeyer, who was a special character in an episode that was primarily about her.
She was one of the characters who actually just pretty much started as a design, a random high school student design.
Her voice was done by Jennifer Jason Leigh. She was a very weird girl who lived with her parents and was just totally out of touch because her parents were so old and she was so weird and bookish.
Greetings, water balloon. Sure. How's it going? Move along, water balloon. Your molecules are in my light.
Dr. Yvonne Farley, Ed D., principal of Pomper High School. You'll see her photo behind her where she was sort of an Angela Davis-style radical, apparently 20 years ago.
I think we designed her suit around something that Madeleine Albright would have worn.
I've called you here because Kevin was caught sleeping during his fourth period AP chemistry class.
Ron.
One of the best things, too, are the little curly hairs on his arm.
Yeah, Ron has a pager. Back when people used to wear pagers all the time, he's got great little shoes. Those shoes are so good. Ron is obviously not his real first name, and he doesn't have a last name. He's the guy who owns Waterbed World, and he is a guy who emigrated from some collapsed Soviet republic.
You two close up. I gotta go. I'm feeling so damn sexy right now.
We ended up having to change the name of the show to Mission Hill, which we all liked, and now we've all come to be used to. And I don't know whether people loved it, but in any case, here it is on DVD.